She told me she was all alone. Said I don't didn't have no one. She said doesn't get enough bitch. 59 and what she gon' be. She lied, you lied me. Cause she gonna love me, yeah.
Good afternoon, wrestling fans, and welcome to the August 18th edition, Monday, August 18th, 2014 of WrestleTalkShow. I'm your host, Joshua Zimmerman, here to bring you the latest and greatest professional wrestling news, bits, rumors, anything and everything wrestling. We cover it right here for you. Remember to follow us on our YouTube channel, our archived YouTube channel of the old shows, youtube.com/CWE Company. Submit your email questions to the show at cwewrestlingENTINC@gmail.com. That again is the abbreviations for Entertainment and Incorporated @gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter at CWE Company. Facebook, CWE Company. Both CWE Company and WrestleTalkShow are the extensions on Facebook. Our goal here is simple. Production value. We took a year off to kind of get my personal affairs in order and to upgrade the UCam, if you will. Special thanks to Cyberlink UCam, one of the easiest and streamless interfaces I've ever worked with on a camera, but that's neither here nor there. Getting this out of the way, yesterday for WWE Summerslam 2014, we purchased the network, my brother and I, and here it is. With a 6-month commitment, you pay $9.99 to opt out at any time, and this is a steal, like I said before. And I believe my brother-in-law did this for this reason. At least he said he did. They charge $12.99 for the opt-out anytime you want. But basically they get an extra $4 to give you that luxury, if you will. And without repeating myself too many times on too many of these shows, it's a money saver even if you're doing it strictly for, I had the chance to spend the afternoon a couple hours before SummerSlam last night to check it out. They definitely, I don't know if the fans want to email in and tell us how the interface used to be 6 months ago on the initial launch, but it's basically seamless. You type in whatever you want. Like I was interested in The Rock versus Stone Cold saga, and it singles out those videos. And what I found more interesting is if you type in Chris Benoit, a match from 1995's WCW comes up, and that to date is the only thing that I've seen where WWE actually recognizes Chris Benoit as a professional wrestler. You'll remember, if fans that came back to our show remember, I spoke out that I agreed with WWE applying some distance between them and Chris Benoit, but to ultimately destroy a man's entire wrestling career based on a personal decision that obviously we're not going to be able to go back and forth on because he's gone, kind of seemed irrelevant. I mean, I was not in any way, shape, or form defending it, but I did not see how it played into his career. This all happened well after Chris Benoit established the name as a professional wrestler that he established, but I can understand where I get some flack. I don't disagree. It was a heinous act, but I don't think it should have been WWE. I don't think WWE's decision should have been, let's pretend that he didn't exist at all. Because when you do that, you're going to have those people that say, or like I did when you type in Chris Benoit into the network. One match from 1995 shows up. And there was way more to his career. Before this tragic incident, he gave so much to us as wrestling fans and the business itself that I don't think that this should have shadowed an entire career. Yes, when you talk about his career, conversation should end once you mention that, but I don't think that WWE's response of basically making a wrestling career disappear was merited. Let's get into your wrestling news and headlines for the day. Former UFC superstar Chael Sonnen recently appeared on Jericho's Talk is Jericho podcast and discussed his history as an MMA fighter and his interest in pro wrestling. A longtime fan of WWE and close friend of CM Punk, Sonnen recounted an incident in which he disclosed Stephanie McMahon's private cell phone number on television as an effort to garner information about Punk's status with WWE. Sonnen leaks Jericho set up the tale, recalling that Sonnen had appeared on Michael Landberg's Off the Record show on TSN and held up a sign with McMahon's phone number on it, encouraging fans to call her and ask her if Punk would have a match with WWE in the near future. Jericho asked Sonnen how he got Stephanie's number in the first place, adding that even he isn't privy to that information. Quote, "I got sworn to secrecy from the guy that gave me the number," Sonnen laughed. Quote, "and it was not Punk. Just to say who it was not," he added. Sonnen explained he was annoyed that CM Punk didn't seem to be with WWE, and more that Punk hadn't replied to any of his texts or messages with an adequate explanation, and he decided to pull the stunt after Punk didn't appear at an episode of Monday Night Raw. Sonnen then contacted Punk after the show to tell him what he had done on the air, and Punk initially did not believe him. TSN ultimately aired the segment with Sonnen, but blurred out McMahon's phone number. Sonnen said Michael Lindsberg called the number at some point to see if it was real, and indicated that at some point Landsberg actually spoke with Stephanie. Quote, "Triple H did get involved," Sonnen recalled. Quote, "It got all the way to Triple H, and he did send a message back." Sonnen also talked about briefly training for a career in pro wrestling in the late 1990s and commented on his NSAC suspension due to his positive tests for performance-enhancing substances. Apparently, WWE talent is interested in working for another promotion. There were rumors online that WWE is moving SummerSlam to the New York and New Jersey area in 2015 due to them wanting more space than the Staples Center in Los Angeles can offer. This is not true, as the Barclays Center in Brooklyn has about the same capacity as the Staples Center, and the Izod Center in East Rutherford holds less than 1,000 more. With so much uncertainty in the pro wrestling business right now, it was said by Dave Meltzer on Wrestling Observer Radio this week that everyone not in WWE right now wants to work for New Japan Pro Wrestling. He added that some guys in WWE are also interested in working for NJPW. CM Punk comes out and jokes about social media rumors. There were bogus rumors going around Twitter last night that Punk got arrested. A fan asked Punk on Twitter today why people were saying he got arrested. He replied, "Because I was arrested." Rey Mysterio reaches out to his fans in Mexico At the conclusion of Sunday's Triple Mania event in Mexico City, Mexico, a pre-recorded video was shown of Rey Mysterio donning a sombrero, congratulating AAA on 22 years of success and telling fans he would see them soon. A message was then shown displaying hashtag Free Rey. Footage of this video message has surfaced online. You can visit WrestlingInc.com for that full video. The video statement could provoke a legal response from WWE since he is still under contract to the sports entertainment organization as a talent. According to F4W Online, AAA officials believed they could get around that by only showing the video to fans at the arena. Quote, this video still, however, proves that his video message airing during the PPV broadcast. Warrior's widow, thanks to WWE, Dana Warrior, widow of the late Ultimate Warrior, issued a statement on Facebook and Twitter thanking WWE for inviting her and her two daughters to SummerSlam in Los Angeles, California. Quote, I think it is Vince McMahon, not Barnum and Bailey, who created the greatest show on earth. Warrior wrote, I had to lock the hotel door extra tight and make sure my Warrior girls made it home and didn't follow the circus to Las Vegas. We will always be connected to our WWE family and the draw of the live shows because that was where Warrior was last most alive, and every time we go know that is where he will always remain truly living. Always believe. Sincerely, Dana. She also posted photos of her daughters backstage at the event, meeting such WWE stars as Randy Orton, Big Show, and AJ Lee. Speaking of Warrior, her message slamming Hulk Hogan for appearing fake when speaking publicly about her late husband was covered by the New York Post. You may remember we and Wrestling Inc. and Smart Wrestling Fan and our friends at PW Torch Online, Dana Warrior posted a statement that Hogan had claimed, not posted a statement, kind of a rebuttal to Hulk Hogan claiming that he's reached out to the Warrior family, this, that, and the other thing, and Dana Warrior has shot him down, proving that Hogan never made these attempts, and I don't know why it took a news story for this to happen, but Hulk Hogan now is one of the fakest people in reality that you'll ever meet. He still thinks he's bigger than he is. He's taken slams at Lesnar at Austin this week. We'll get into that in a moment. But moving on with the Rey Mysterio and Del Rio drama, WWE reportedly upset with both Rey Mysterio and Alberto Del Rio. WWE officials are not happy with Alberto Del Rio and Rey Mysterio right now for working with the AAA promotion in Mexico. Dave Meltzer noted on Wrestling Observer Radio that WWE is worried about being painted as racist, especially to the Latino community that they have been trying to create a new superstar for ever since Rey stopped working full-time due to injuries. TMZ report, so take it for what you will, poor grammar and probably not a story. Lesnar talks merging the title belts, why he wants to do it. After defeating John Cena for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship in a one-sided match Sunday night at SummerSlam, TMZ.com caught up with Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman outside of Morton's restaurant in downtown Los Angeles, California. He showed off his championship belts, which he brought with him to dinner. He laughed at the belts having seen his name on them. Quote, "I came, I saw, I conquered," Lesnar says of beating Cena at SummerSlam. After continuing to talk more trash about Cena, Lesnar said he plans to merge the WWE World Heavyweight Championship since he does not want to carry two belts. Rumors circulating of Triple H and Vince McMahon being at odds over creative and WrestleMania 31. There have been a lot of rumors going around of Vince McMahon and Triple H, quote, butting heads creatively, including who to have Brock Lesnar face at WrestleMania 31. The rumor is that Vince wants The Rock versus Lesnar, while Triple H wants Roman Reigns versus Lesnar. Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer newsletter notes that there is certainly word going around WWE that Vince sometimes undercuts Triple H and makes him look bad, but it could be a case of good cop, bad cop dynamic. Meltzer noted that he doesn't sense any strong negative feelings between the two. Backstage news on Lesnar's recent jab at Hulk Hogan, as seen in the Hulk Hogan birthday celebration on last week's WWE Raw. Brock Lesnar crashed the party and told Hogan to his face, quote, "Party's over, Grandpa." The line from Lesnar to Hogan was not in the script and was something that Lesnar came up with on his own, possibly with the assistance of Heyman. For what it's worth, Hogan appeared on the Kevin and Bean radio show on Friday, and besides heavily praising John Cena, he cut a promo about wanting to face Lesnar for the title. Hogan has been telling fans and media that he's planning on wrestling one more match for WWE. Update on Batista returning to WWE. Now that most media is finished for Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, Batista is expected back in the WWE storyline soon. No word on when exactly that could be, but it could be in time for Night of Champions. Bully Ray departs from TNA, thanks to other employee. Bully Ray has not commented on his TNA status, but tweeted the following to TNA Senior Director of Live Events, Raphael Morphy, who recently gave his notice to the company. Quote, "Good luck to my friend," and the hashtag for Mr. Morphy, on his new job with New York Cosmos. "You are an asset to any company you work for, and I appreciate you, bro." Davey Richards out of action, as reported. TNA star Davey Richards was injured in an Impact last week. Davey Richards of the TNA Tag Team Champions, the Wolves, suffered a broken tibia at this weekend's TNA live event in Indiana, Pennsylvania. The freak accident happened when Davey went for a sliding kick outside of the ring and his foot got caught. Richards tweeted the following update on Saturday and says he'll be out of action for 4 to 6 weeks. Landed in STL, straight to rehab. Be back in 4 to 6 weeks. The Wolves came to Impact Wrestling to wrestle, and wrestle we will. Hashtag path to greatness. Eva Marie says she deserves a Divas title shot. Eva Marie feels she deserves a shot at the Divas Championship after pinning AJ Lee on Raw. Quote, "I must say, that is the biggest win of my career right now," Eva Marie remarked on the WWE app prior to her rematch against Lee on SmackDown. You can watch it at WrestlingInc.com or WWE.com. She goes on to say, "But I did pin the Divas champion, so I am entitled to a Divas championship title match." Eva Marie picked up her second victory in 4 days over Lee on SmackDown. After the Divas champion was counted out, Lee failed to re-enter the ring in time after she attacked Paige. And we're going to move on to WWE Summerslam. The full results right here. So let's pull them up for you. Give us a moment. Again, we want to encourage you to follow us any way you can. We want this, the purpose of this show is complete and total fan interaction, covering independence and professional wrestling like wrestling giant WWE. But we cover everything in wrestling and we want your input. So again, visit our archived library, youtube.com/CWE Company. Email your questions, concerns, anything and everything will be factored into the following show, depending on when you email in. Like if you email right after this episode, your comment question will be applied to the next show, and that's how it will always work. No one will ever be left out. We read them all. So we encourage you, CWE Wrestling, ENTINC@gmail.com. Your results for the August 17th, 2014 Staples Center, Los Angeles, California, 2014 edition of SummerSlam. And here we go. For the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, Brock Lesnar defeated John Cena to become the new WWE World Heavyweight Champion. Roman Reigns defeated Randy Orton. Stephanie McMahon defeated Brie Bella, and Bella turned. Bray Wyatt defeated Chris Jericho. Both Luke Harper and Eric Rowan were banned from ringside. The flag match, Rusev defeated Jack Swagger. The lumberjack match, Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose. Rollins defeated Ambrose. Divas Championship match, Paige defeated AJ Lee to become the new Divas Champion. Intercontinental Championship, Dolph Ziggler defeated The Miz to become the new Intercontinental Champion. And the SummerSlam kickoff at 7:30. The one match that was aired on the kickoff show, the 30-minute kickoff show, featured Rob Van Dam and Cesaro, where Rob Van Dam came out successful. That's it in a nutshell. To go back on to look at SummerSlam a little bit, we want to encourage you again to email in what you thought of SummerSlam, what you think of the network, and anything and everything we've asked you about. We want your feedback on. So CWE Wrestling Entertainment Incorporated, that's where you can find us. And we pose you this question: would you, like us, buy the network strictly to save an average of $50 a pay-per-view? Like we said a week ago, WWE now averages a pay-per-view almost bi-weekly. So if you're a cable subscriber, we argued last week that Triple H calling the fans cheap. Well, if you're a cable subscriber, whether it be with Comcast or like us with Verizon, the average triple play, if you will, renders each service about $80 a service. Now that's outrageous in itself. And then you factor in the cost of a WWE pay-per-view, which WWE on its own, by launching the network, has completely changed the dynamic of the pay-per-view business, because it wants everything to stream through the network. So there will, when the quarterlies come out, there will be no breakdown for the pay-per-view business, because it will now fall into the numbers for the network. And where we argued was WWE has the next 6 months to a year where they can raise and drop the numbers. But after about a year, 6 months to a year, WWE will be faced with what some critics, I know myself, are dreading, is they won't be able to manipulate the numbers anymore. They're going to have their flat subscriber rate, and then what are they going to do? Now, I can only speak for myself in that it works, and even if you have to pay $12.99, if you're used to paying the cable platform charges and the taxes and fees associated with each pay-per-view, and factoring in the fact that WWE, two things. WWE does almost bi-weekly pay-per-views, and come thinking about it now, WWE also, I believe, feels that in an economic hardship, we have money to burn, whereas we mentioned this last week. Actually, James Caldwell and Wade Keller have noted it on pwtorch.com, where when you sell the network for $9.99, which is almost making me sick at this point, if you noticed on the kickoff show, even the commentators were laughing as they pumped $9.99 down your throat. Now, it works any way you slice it. If you're going to turn around, let me think about this for a moment. If you're going to turn around and strictly use the network to get pay-per-views cheaper, then WWE has a bargain for pay-per-view subscribers. But what they're facing, and where Triple H got a lot of heat last week for calling fans cheap because they're not getting the numbers that they want out of the network after utterly failing the projection of 1 million subscribers to only come up with about 626,000 subscribers after losing 128,000. You're faced with this dilemma. Last week marked the first 6-month renewal for the 6-month auto commit people that are paying $9.99 for the network. You're going to have, as Wade Keller mentioned, you're going to have a part of that fan base, and where we say WWE is manipulating the numbers, you're going to have part of that fan base leave, you're going to have part of that fan base stay on, and then you're going to, by the grace of God, obtain some new subscribers. But after about the next 6 months, to give them 8 if you want to be generous, they're not going to be able to lie about the numbers. They're going, if 625,000 people subscribe, that's the only number they're going to be able to project. They're not going to be able to say, we have 600 now, but we anticipate 400,000 fans by Christmas. That's what they can do right now. But after that, they're, like we said, they're not going to be able to do that. So our question for today on today's hot topic is, why do you sign up for the network? Submit your submit your answer to CWE Wrestling Entertainment Incorporated, ENTINC@gmail.com, or on Facebook, facebook.com/CWE Company or WrestleTalkShow, either one. Interactive questions. Why do you subscribe to the network? It could be for just the pay-per-views. It could be because you like the library. It could be because you like the interface. Give us as much detail as possible so we can get the spectrum of what people who have the network are thinking. Because I think right now, and columnists like Wade Keller and the PW Torch are reporting on, there's some mixed feelings with it, because if you have cable, like PW Torch mentioned, if you have cable, you are already happy with the free content. If you don't, then the $12 is worth it. But that wraps up today. Thank you. I'm Joshua Zimmerman. Have a great night.
Special guest appearance.
Later, guys. What?